The deepest secrets of the galaxy have been unlocked, and the Council Beyond the Stars has spoken your name aloud for the first time. Your destiny is no longer limited to Earth. Your soul has been recognized on a universal scale. It has become clear that you are the one that humanity has been waiting for thousands of years. Even galactic systems began to follow you as you stood tall in the face of adversity. No one could extinguish your light, and you shook the darkness with your faith. You are no longer alone. The cosmic realm is talking about your ascension. A power has been unleashed that will transform the pain of the past into the miracles of the future. Write 555 in the comments now, because Chosen One, if even the Galactic Federation has recognized you, there is no more impossible in this world. There are rare individuals whose mere existence disturbs the spirits of those operating in the shadows, and recently, you have found yourself feeling the weight of energies that seem almost foreign. Lately, it's as if you've awoken not from rest, but from some invisible conflict, your mind and body carrying the residue of struggles that don't feel like your own. Dreams have felt less like sanctuary and more like crowded halls where unfamiliar burdens press in, leaving you with an unsettled sense that someone else's emotional storms have blown through your door. Unbeknownst to you, as you quietly poured your focus into elevating your own journey and safeguarding your well-being, a collection of envious souls began converging. Their gatherings were thick with plotting and unspoken envy, driven by a restless awareness that something extraordinary was about to shift in your favor. The gifts and opportunities written into your path became their obsession, their anxiety growing as they sensed the tide turning against their long-standing interference. Those who once siphoned from your purpose now stand on the edge of being exposed, understanding too late that their campaign would soon backfire in ways they never imagined. Their fundamental flaw was believing your essence was something they could claim or suppress. Material gain was merely one aspect of what they sought. What truly unsettled them was your influence, your vision, your birthright to shine. In their desperation, they devised methods to deprive you not only of tangible rewards, but of the very legacy meant for you. But where they expected to break you, they failed to realize a higher order was always in motion, one that doesn't block adversity, but uses it as a tool to return every intention with greater force to its origin. Beneath the surface, deception ran deep. Official records and legal documents were tampered with. Rightful inheritances rerouted through dishonest means. Accomplishments that should have been yours were redirected through manipulation and deceit, orchestrated by insiders and allies with vested interests. The breakdown of precious connections and sudden betrayals were all set in motion by rumors meticulously seeded by those who wished to see you isolated, feeding others' doubts with carefully constructed falsehoods. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the Super Thank You button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom. For you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. Yet, for every clandestine act, a trace was left behind, an indelible fingerprint in the fabric of reality. Every attempt at misdirection wove a thread into the tapestry of truth that would eventually be pulled. Even as they orchestrated forged signatures and conjured new paperwork, destiny was quietly unspooling their web. Their anxiety grew as evidence of their wrongdoing accumulated beyond their control, revealing the futility of fighting a fate that had never belonged to them. The strategy of your adversaries was not random or disorganized. There existed a structured network, powerful individuals with inherited privilege at the helm, delegating social sabotage to one figure and financial disruption to another. Beneath these lieutenants were operatives embedded in every area of your life, chosen for their proximity to you and willingness to act. Old friendships were targeted for corrosion. Trusted circles infiltrated with misinformation designed to provoke distrust and alienation. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. One by one, those once closest to you were approached with manufactured evidence, altered images, false messages, stories tailored to evoke hurt and suspicion. These seeds were planted by those who specialized in subtle manipulation, adept at exploiting emotional wounds for their own agenda. Others employed more direct tactics, spreading rumors in professional settings or quietly undermining your reputation behind closed doors. What made their campaigns so insidious was the pretense of care, a facade of concern, masking a calculated effort to see you undone. Some even turned to spiritual mimicry, attempting rituals and practices they barely comprehended, in the mistaken belief that they could bend unseen forces to their will. They consulted so-called experts, paid for supposed spells, and carried out ceremonies with the intent of cursing what was meant to bless you. But every action taken with dark intent leaves a signature on a plane they cannot access, a ledger kept by forces beyond their control, ensuring that all things done in malice find their way back home. Sometimes life seems to have its own secret filing system, tucking away the most important pieces until the perfect moment arrives for truth to resurface. Those who tried to undermine you were convinced that their sabotage would leave you stranded, but what they never realized was that the path to your destiny never depended on them. Instead of being defeated by their isolation tactics, you flourished and reinvented yourself in ways they could never have predicted. Not long ago, the winds of change began to reveal the hidden details they thought were lost forever. Out of nowhere, an overlooked document reappeared at just the right moment. A device, assumed to be long gone, was unexpectedly found, packed with crucial files. Someone they thought would remain silent forever suddenly came forward with a crystal-clear memory of everything that happened. Call it fate or higher order, but there is a mysterious precision to how the fabric of the universe gathers evidence for moments when justice must finally step forward. Those who assisted in corrupting official records once believed they'd secured themselves a safety net, saving backups, stashing copies, always hedging their bets in case the tides turned. That day of reckoning has now arrived. The first signs might seem insignificant: a text from an old contact, an email that bridges years of silence, or a sudden realization that ties together facts you never thought to connect. This is not a roll of the dice, it's a long brewing correction, as if every falsehood ever told is magnetized back to its source. Years of secret misdeeds are being swept out of the dark and into the light, and nothing will stop their exposure now. The road you walked was not just survival, it was a transformation. Each act of betrayal, every unseen battle, each lonely night was not simply endured, but used to forge a deeper, brighter core within you. You didn't just come through the fire, you were remade by it, honed into someone stronger than before. In places where truth seekers gather, whether on calls or in quiet community, you find others with similar scars and strength. Visionaries, survivors, and spiritual warriors, each with their own extraordinary tale of turning darkness into power. What once felt like isolated suffering now reveals itself as training for something far greater, connecting you to a circle that recognizes your value and reflects your potential. Meanwhile, panic is spreading like cracks through glass among those who plotted against you. Some are desperate to disappear, moving assets in a frenzy, shredding files, or frantically consulting lawyers, only to be told the case against them is airtight. What they don't realize is that nothing is ever truly erased. Forgotten digital files linger in the cloud. Cameras captured what they believed would never be seen, and allies they once trusted have quietly been archiving everything. As the pressure mounts, secrets are being spilled, journals unearthed, recordings handed over. Those who once swore loyalty are now racing to save themselves, dismantling the alliance from the inside. The dominoes continue to fall. Authorities are listening as those who facilitated the fraud, bankers, bureaucrats, so-called spiritual practitioners, start trading information to protect themselves. The repercussions ripple out, catching more in the net as names are revealed and the full scope of the scheme is laid bare. But while the architects of your pain are unraveling, you are thriving. Despite everything, your light remains untarnished. The simple joy of a genuine laugh, a casual smile, becomes a profound torment to those who tried to extinguish it. They cannot fathom how, in the aftermath of their attacks, you continue to build a life that stands firm. What stings the most is the authenticity of your happiness. Every milestone you reach is a silent rebuke to their efforts. The friendships and alliances that survived their sabotage are now stronger than ever. Every setback engineered to hurt you has instead become the compost for new opportunities and deeper connections. The harder they tried to fracture your world, the more resilient you became. Your capacity to absorb their blows and return even brighter is a mystery they cannot solve. And while they desperately tried to keep material rewards out of your hands, whether it was assets, family gifts, or opportunities, they only delayed the inevitable. The false narratives and fake paperwork were clever in the short term, but every move left a breadcrumb trail for truth to follow. Now, with new investigations underway and every hidden advantage exposed, it's clear that what was meant for your harm has set you up for an even greater restoration. The value of what's being returned, both seen and unseen, goes beyond any sum, for it comes with proof that your path was always guided by something beyond human schemes. It's remarkable how, when attempts to take what's rightfully yours escalate, the universe begins to reveal every hidden corner of the truth. While those responsible thought their careful plotting would bury the facts for good, it turns out the smallest details were always destined to reappear. Every financial scheme, every detour they orchestrated, every opportunity rerouted to serve their own interests, none of it escaped notice in the grand accounting of events. The investigation now unfolding isn't just revealing their theft of resources, it's exposing a complex web of deceit that required funds to move quietly, hands to be greased, rooms to be rented, and records to be altered. And yet, every cent tells its own story, each movement quietly threading a trail straight back to its originators. No matter how they tried to hide it, even the most discreet transactions have left patterns that, when the full story is told, make perfect sense to those who know how to look. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. And it's not just your situation that has been caught up in their schemes. As the truth unravels, it's become apparent that their ambitions reached much further. There are other lives disrupted, and deeds committed so callous that even the investigators themselves are taken aback. Some of the group are now facing strange physical and mental afflictions, mysterious symptoms that defy medical explanation, health problems that worsen with every passing day. But those who see beneath the surface recognize what this really is: the weight of living in conflict with one's own conscience, the toll of harboring deep resentment, the consequence of choosing to strike at someone protected by an unseen grace. Their bodies are responding to the burden of all they've carried and concealed. Some aspects of what's been uncovered go beyond mere rivalry, crossing lines into realms so dark that the agencies now involved have jurisdiction that stretches across borders and through years. The revelations have prompted old records to be dusted off, new connections to be drawn, and patterns of wrongdoing to emerge that paint an even starker picture. The unity that once defined their circle is dissolving quickly. Fear has a way of unmasking loyalty for what it really is, conditional and fleeting when faced with accountability. As anxiety mounts, secrets spill out, and the fortress they imagined indestructible is now caving in from within. Among those involved, their distress is manifesting in different ways. One of them, the person who handled their finances, now finds himself haunted by dreams where every misstep glows like a warning, a torment that won't let up. Guilt is eating away at his resolve, leaving him restless and unable to escape the truth of his actions. Another, who once lived nearby, is gripped by dread, unable to shake the feeling of being watched, plagued by insomnia and running from shadows of her own making. What began as casual interference has grown into a heavy burden, a constant reminder of the dangers of betraying trust for the sake of petty drama. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. Even those who conspired as partners, once so united by shared animosity, are now turning against each other. Their alliances are fracturing, accusations flying, and their relationship dissolving as the reality of what they've done becomes impossible to ignore. The illusion that darkness could ever build anything lasting is being shattered, and with every fallout, more evidence of misappropriated resources and hidden motives surfaces. All the while, a different kind of support has quietly upheld your journey. Invisible help, whether interpreted as spiritual, ancestral, or intuitive, has kept you one step ahead of their traps. Decisions that seemed spontaneous at the time, preserving documents, keeping extra copies, changing routines, now reveal themselves as vital acts of self-protection. That persistent instinct, guiding you away from danger and toward clarity, has never steered you wrong, even when it made little sense to others. The clues have multiplied in your life, subtle but persistent. Recurring numbers, perfectly timed songs, random remarks that seem to answer your silent questions, passages in books that jump out as if written just for you, all serve as reminders that you're being led along a path that's uniquely yours. These patterns aren't just random occurrences, they're the universe's affirmation that you're in exactly the right place at the right time, and that every move made against you will ultimately strengthen your position. When the winds of change gather and a long-awaited message draws near, an entire chapter of life is about to flip. The next call you receive could carry a revelation that unravels years of confusion, a professional who's been piecing together the tangled strands of your story, an old ally ready to speak the truth, or perhaps a stranger delivering news that upends the game. Whatever form it takes, it will spark a cascade that topples every obstacle in your path. True justice doesn't arrive as mere compensation. It rewrites the balance sheet of fate. Every opportunity that was withheld, each asset hidden away, every chance that was stolen is now being recalculated, accruing weight and consequence the architects of deception never anticipated. As investigators retrace every transaction and follow the trails of forgotten funds, they're uncovering resources that had all but vanished. But even more significant than the return of what was lost is the revival of your good name. Layer by layer, the false narratives fall away, and connections once poisoned by lies are healing with the strength that comes from surviving the storm. Many who once doubted are quietly reaching out, realizing how deeply they were misled. As the tables turn, you're discovering that you don't have to take revenge or chase down retribution. Your most potent armor was always your commitment to truth, refusing to stoop to the level of your adversaries, holding to your own sense of right even when mocked for it. That steadfastness is now the force that elevates you far above their schemes. While the structures built on dishonesty are collapsing, opportunities are emerging, crafted for those whose character outlasted the trial. Offers you missed out on before are being dwarfed by new roles and alliances formed specifically to honor your integrity and authenticity. What was taken from you isn't just being replaced, it's being amplified. Every moment you waited, every hurdle you crossed, is now reflected in the multiplied return. Properties withheld are returning with added value, and every block placed in your path is turning into an avenue for greater prosperity, often with new partners who truly understand your worth. Those who once tried to sway you back into their orbit, with smiles masking nervousness, are not seeking reconciliation. They're calculating how best to protect themselves from the fallout of the truths you carry. Their unease is growing. Every casual encounter, an accidental meeting at the market, a brief, tense conversation, sends ripples of fear through their circle. The secrets they clung to unravel with every word, every record, every hidden act brought into the daylight. Now every accomplice who was manipulated or coerced becomes another witness. Every deception a stitch in the fabric of the case that's being woven against them. Yet the story isn't just about you. It's about every person who was harmed by this web. The vulnerable, the overlooked, those whose suffering was hidden in the margins. All are beginning to find their voices and their justice. Children are finding shelter, elders are being made whole, and the exploited are seeing accountability at last. The unraveling of one lie is exposing a much broader network, and as each thread is pulled, new stories are being liberated from silence. Like the morning sun rising over a field once shrouded in fog, your light now disperses every trace of shadow before it even touches your path. The forces that once crept at the edges of your life have lost their hold, powerless to dim the brightness you carry. There was a time when you felt the chill of unseen threats, when old wounds and whispered schemes made you question if the dawn would ever truly break. But now, just as surely as sunlight floods every corner and chases out the night, your protection is established, not by human hands, but by something greater that walks with you and ahead of you. What once felt like a looming storm now seems no more than a puddle after the rain. Every plot against you collapses under its own confusion, tripping over details and falling apart before it can even reach your door. The doors that once slammed shut in your face are now propped wide open by favor you didn't expect. Their plans scatter like leaves in the wind, meaningless, weightless, swept away by a power they cannot comprehend. Each new attempt to trip you up becomes the reason you rise higher. They gather in their secret corners, plotting, but every move they make only exposes their own weakness. Their last-ditch efforts to block your blessings get intercepted, redirected, and turned into stepping stones for your next level. You stand in a place now where your enemy's greatest weapons are powerless, and you know in your spirit that this protection did not come from your striving, but from a destiny that was always meant for you. Where fear once tried to whisper your defeat, peace now rules your heart. The same mouths that cursed you now fall silent in awe, watching doors open for you that no person can close. This is your divine shield, the kind built from trust, perseverance, and the unseen hand of grace. You are living proof, chosen one, that nothing formed against you can prosper when your calling is sealed by something higher. It's as if, for every shadow cast your way, a lantern is lit on your path. Patterns emerge, moments that seem like coincidence at first, but prove to be orchestrated nudges, aligning people and possibilities just when you need them most. Intuition sharpens, dreams carry guidance, and everyday signs become signals that you're moving exactly as you should. As the architects of chaos grapple with restless nights and visions of exposure, those who suffered under their reign are finding one another, creating bonds of healing and solidarity. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. Soon enough, those responsible will reach for excuses, pleading for understanding, hoping you'll overlook the depth of harm they caused. But the tides have shifted. While they beg for sympathy, you're busy laying new foundations, constructing the life that was always meant for you. Their losses mount as everything they tried to withhold finds its way back to your hands, and the roles they guarded are being custom-built for your talents. This is the harvest of their actions, a reckoning no amount of pleading can prevent. Every plan hatched in secrecy is being spotlighted. Every treasure hidden in darkness is surfacing with compounded worth. Every single effort made to diminish you is now the fuel for your elevation. The cycle of cause and effect, long delayed, is now in full motion. While those who waged war on your spirit scramble in panic, you step forward, unburdened, into a future where your gifts and goodness are no longer questioned, but celebrated and multiplied. If you feel God's presence, You can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. This moment is your confirmation. All that's meant for you cannot be withheld, and no plot, however sinister, can rob you of your purpose. As the last vestiges of deception fade, you stand in the sunrise of your own vindication, unshakable, unbreakable, and fully restored. This is the era where your story becomes a living testament to the triumph of integrity over intrigue, of divine order over chaos, and of destiny fulfilled despite every obstacle thrown in your path.